In the NBA, scoring is going through the roof, but ironically enough, defense is being valued more than ever. And one player who's been incredible defensively this year is Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren is currently number 1 in the Defensive Player of the Year rankings, and it's not even close. Like, not even close. And this is for pretty good reasons. Today, let's talk about how Jaren Jackson Jr. has been so damn good defensively and why he's the Defensive Player of the Year. Rightly so. Jaren has always been great defensively. Last season, he was first team All-NBA and averaged 2.3 blocks a game. But there was still plenty of room for improvement. He wasn't invincible on that side of the ball. But this year, after missing the first 14 games of the season, he's been frightening on defense, like utterly scary. If you come up against him, you don't want to see him because he's going to block at least 5 of your shots, minimum. Jaren is averaging 3.3 blocks a game, which will soon lead the NBA. Fortunately enough for the other guys, he hasn't played enough games yet, so it doesn't count. He's also averaging 1 steal a game as a 6'11" power forward. That's pretty ridiculous. They don't call that boy Block Panther for nothing. But it's not just the major analytics like blocks and steals that show that Jaren's been unbelievable on defense as well. There's been plenty of other things that show that without him, the Grizzlies would be nowhere near where they are right now. Before Jaren was back, the Grizzlies were around 20th in defensive rating. Mid. Now the Grizzlies are first in defensive rating in the entire NBA. Not mid at all. On top of that, when Jaren is on the floor, teams have an offensive rating of 106.4. They pretty much can't score at all. When he's off the court though, opponents have an offensive rating of 113, which translates to a middle of the league defensive rating for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies go from far and away the best defensive team in the league to an average defense at best when Jaren is off the court. It's clearly been demonstrated. The stats show that Jaren is unbelievable defensively and nobody rivals him. But there are a bunch of intangibles and other things that you can just see with the eye test that show that Jaren is the best defender in the NBA at this moment. Jaren has a massive frame at 6'11", about 250 pounds, and he has one of the longest wingspans in NBA history as well. That makes for a fantastic defensive combo. And throughout Jaren's career, that combination with his frame has led opponents to be absolutely frightened when they see him at the rim. Dudes are literally scared to go in the paint when they see Jaren, and I really do not blame them in the slightest. I'd probably crap myself if I saw him. The major problem with Jaren before with defense is that he fouled way too much. In some seasons, he was averaging close to 4 fouls a game, and that reduced his minutes and overall impact on the floor on both the offense and the defensive side. But this year, he's averaging the least amount of fouls per game he's done in his whole entire NBA career. Around 3.1 fouls a game, which is not too bad. For young bigs, it's always a problem with fouling, and that's been a problem with Jaren his whole career, but he seems to finally have gotten a decent stranglehold on that. He's also a coach's dream because he can switch 1 to 5 on defense. He can guard your best guard on a switch, and he can lock up your biggest post player as well. With Jaren's quick feet and massive frame, there's literally nothing he can't do on the defensive end. So with everything I've presented, Jaren shows a massive case as being the best defensive player in the league. But what about the other guys? Other candidates like Lopez and Claxton have a case. They've both been incredible defensively this year, and they brought their teams to a better level from where they were defensively before, especially Claxton when the Nets were horrible last year on defense. Brook, he has some help because he's got a few elite defenders around him like Giannis. Middleton, when he's played, of course, he's a great defender, and Drew is one of the best perimeter defenders in the whole entire NBA. But it's quite clear that Jaren's impact on the Grizzlies is much greater than any other candidate's impact on their own team. The Grizzlies' whole defensive scheme is centered around Jaren. If you see the way Ja plays, he literally funnels guards to the bigs, and especially Jaren, and that's how he gets a lot of his blocks. So when you have that big of an impact on your team's total defense, and you're the number 1 defense when you're on the court, that shows why Jaren is the Defensive Player of the Year, and it's not even close. Not close at all. I mean, not even freaking. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. You can check out my latest video right here as well. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.